good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, netsnewsnetwork.net. Happy 4th of July. I've got some really good things that I want to talk to you about 4th of July. And these are probably some things you didn't know about, facts of that you never knew about the 4th of July. Some I know you do, especially the first one right here. So, well, I know about Thomas Jefferson, and he was the main author of the Declaration of Independence. So there were 4 others on the drafting committee, and that was Roger Sherman, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Robert Livingston. And I think that's some really good information. By the way, gather your kids around. Let them know about this real stuff here, okay, in American history. Now, we all know about John Hancock, okay? So John Hancock was the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence. Likely because he was the president of Congress at the time, he did sign in large hand at the center of the document, according to the National Archives. Now, his bold signature is where we get the phrase, put your John Hancock here when you're signing something. How many times have you said that? Oh, we always said, both my granddads would always say, put your John Hancock right here. So that was pretty good. But teach these things to your kids, okay? It's so important. Independence Day should have been celebrated on July the 2nd. Did you know that? I didn't either. So, although the document was dated July 4th, Congress actually voted for Independence Day from Great Britain 2 days prior on July 2nd, 1776. It apparently wasn't signed by everyone until the month later on August the 2nd, 1776. It's so funny how we get used to certain dates, and and then that's what we are taught in history. Okay, so let's talk about this one right here. Now, John Adams wrote a letter to his wife about how memorable Independence Day would be in American history. What about that? So he was obviously right. Now, in his letter, he said the day should be celebrated with parades, bonfires, and fireworks. Totally accurate, wasn't it? Absolutely. But he thought it was celebrated on the wrong day. In fact, he was known to turn down invitations to 4th of July celebrations in protest. Yeah, people did protest back in those days as well. In his correspondence to his wife, Abigail Adams, he only referred to Independence Day as July 2nd. Yeah, wow, some people are kind of stubborn, but sometimes that's a good thing, okay? All right, now, the Pennsylvania Evening Post was the first newspaper to print the Declaration. I'll show you a picture of what that looked like back in the day. Right there it is. So it came out in the newspaper on July 6th, 1776, for everyone to see after a local printer named John Dunlap produced copies of the Declaration's manuscript. Way to think about that. By the way, how many people do you think lived in the nation on July 1776? How many? Just take a guess. How many people do you think? I got it for you right here. So it's an estimated 2.5 million people lived in the nation in July 1776. As of July 21st, about 331.8 million people, of course we have more people now, live in the United States. And this is according to the United States Census. So isn't that amazing? So an estimated 2.5 million people lived in the nation in July 1776. Wow, we've grown a bit as a nation, haven't we? I'm not sure that that's actually counting folks who are here not legally as well. Okay, now let's talk about this one. I think this is pretty interesting as well. So there are 3 presidents. I love the fireworks right there, by the way. By the way, when I was a kid growing up, we lived in Oxford, Alabama. Oxford Lake was just in our backyard, basically. So we would sit out in the backyard, eat hot dogs, hamburgers, cook out, have our little sprinklers, and look at the beautiful fireworks that exploded out there just in our backyard. Beautiful. I'm so glad that tradition still exists. So 3 presidents who signed the Declaration of Independence actually died on July 4th. I didn't know that until reading this. So those presidents were President John Adams, President Thomas Jefferson. Both died on July 4th, 1826. on the 50th anniversary of the country's independence. And President James Monroe died 5 years later on July 4th, 1831. Wow. Isn't that something? Also, did you know this? The Liberty Bell rings 13 times every Independence Day. Yeah, to honor the 13 original states. And let's talk about that just for a few seconds. So, descendants of people who signed the Declaration of Independence tap the bell located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at 2 p.m. Eastern Time every 4th of July. Man, isn't that something? Did you also know that Independence Day was once celebrated on July 5th? Yeah, so the holiday fell on Sunday, 1776, so the country actually celebrated on July 5th instead. This is back in the day, and I remember these days very well. You know, back in the day when you actually didn't buy anything on a Sunday. I remember people didn't go out to eat on Sunday, and I also remember the days when you better buy your fuel. Better buy it like on Saturday night, at least by Saturday night. So if you run out of gas, you wouldn't be able to find a service station open back in the 1960s. And I think it was probably late 60s. I was a kid, but I remember my granddad saying, oh, it was going from our house. They were at our house. And I remember my granddad said, you know what, I better go ahead and get some fuel now before the gas station closes, because tomorrow's Sunday. Remember, they won't be open on Sunday. Boy, times have changed, haven't they? So let's talk about the very first. Yeah, that was the bell we were talking about just a minute ago. So the very first 4th of July fireworks actually took place in Philadelphia in 1777. So fireworks, cannons, and bells went off to honor the 13 original states, very much like modern celebrations. They even had a dinner and a parade for the Declaration of Independence very first anniversary. Yeah. So how do you celebrate the 4th of July? First of all, I'm very patriotic. I love my country. I'm a conservative patriotic. Don't apologize for that at all. And so we celebrate the country basically every day. But we cook out just a little bit. Now, back when I was going to school, we had to memorize the Declaration of Independence. There are things that we had to study on. You know, it was like real history back in the day. And I used to wonder what it would be like living in another country. You know, and then we had history about, you know, what happened with, you know, with the dictators, World War I, World War II, you know, communism coming in. And I remember thinking back in the day, how can you have a multitude of people actually be taken advantage of, and how can they actually believe a dictator who actually wanted to kill people? I used to worry about that. That was a big concern of mine. I wish we could bring that back in as well. Did you know that U.S. soldiers actually got a special treat on 4th of July in the year 1778? Yeah, George Washington helped the troops celebrate by allowing them a double ration of rum, according to Live Science. Yeah, he really wanted to celebrate them. He wanted to make sure they were celebrated as well. Now, there's also a cost to celebrating the 4th of July. We don't spend a lot of money on 4th of July. I don't see the point in doing that. But Americans spend over $1 billion, a B with $1 billion, on the 4th of July every single year. Yeah, according to the American, it's actually a satire that's out. The numbers continue to grow up every year. So the biggest celebration is the Macy's 4th of July fireworks show. I would love to go to that someday, which takes about 8,000 hours to prepare. So it's just as soon as the celebration is over, they start celebrating for the next time. Also, did you know that the 4th of July sales have been a thing for quite a while? You know, a lot of furnitures offer up a big sale on 4th of July sale. But according to Live Science, it was pretty much well seen as unpatriotic if you kept your business open on Independence Day before the Civil War. But after that, restaurants and stores started having sales on red, white, and blue merchandise. And they've continued to do this ever since. Isn't that amazing? Also, there are 33 places, and let's talk about this for a second. There are 33 places in the United States with the word liberty in their names. I remember we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and there was actually a street named Liberty. And I used to go out there a lot. It's pretty close to the TV station I used to work at there. Now, according to the U.S. Census, 4 of them are counties. And that's Georgia, a county in Georgia, and in Florida, Montana, and Texas all have Liberty County. Oh, that must be a great place to live out there. Let's talk about this one for just a second. So Calvin Coolidge was the only president born on the 4th of July. Isn't that amazing? So it probably helped his presidential campaign, don't you think? And it didn't become a federal holiday until the year 1870. So it took nearly 100 years for it to be recognized as such, but when it finally happened, it was up in the ranks with Christmas and a few other holidays. Everybody knows about the 4th of July. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were both signed in Philadelphia. Yeah, the Constitution was signed in September 1787, with a little over 11 years after the Declaration of Independence. While both are important to U.S. history, they are totally separate documents with different meanings. Now, Thomas Jefferson believed that a new Constitution should be written every 19 years. I didn't know about that. Let's dig in. So in a letter to James Madison, he asked if one generation of men has the right to bind another, saying that otherwise the lands would belong to the dead and not to the living, which would be the reverse of our principle, by the way. Did you know Americans eat around 150 million hot dogs each year on each Independence Day? So according to the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, they would call it peak hot dog season. Americans consume around 7 billion hot dogs. This means that 818 are being consumed every second. So producers estimate that during July, which is designated National Hot Dog Month, and it should be, 10% of annual retail hot dog sales occur, and that is a whole bunch of hot dogs. Let's go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Okay, so to commemorate the 4th of July, let's talk about some quotes. And I love these. I love quotes from our founding fathers. But now Winston Churchill had one, and it was called, "Americans always try to do the right thing after they've tried everything else." Winston Churchill. That's the truth right there if it's ever been spoken. Americans always try to do the right thing after they've tried everything else. Okay, let's come up with another quote. This is by William Faulkner. "We must be free, not because we claim freedom, but because we practice it." Oh man, I love that quote. That's from William Faulkner. Okay, let's find another one. Camellia Alves. Okay, this is number 3. "People in power are always trying to convince us that the villain in our American history is each other. And that's how people divide." Okay, it's called Conquer and Divide. So I'm going to start this over again. I like this one. "People in power are trying to convince us that the villain in our American story is each other. But that is not our story. It is not who we are. That's not our America. Our United States is Let's go ahead and let it come back up again. We just talked about Winston Churchill, Faulkner, and here we go. For some reason, this doesn't want me to quote it, but I'm going to get it out there for you anyway. Let's start over. People in power are trying to convince us that the villain in our American story is each other. But that is not our story, and that is not who we are. That's not our America. Our United States of America is not about us versus them. It's about we, the people. Don't let anybody divide you, okay? That's what this whole thing about. Trying to conquer and divide and destroy the United States from within. That's what it is. Okay, I love that one. Thomas Wolfe had another good one. America. It is the only place where miracles not only happen, but where they happen all the time. I like that one too. Thomas Wolfe. Here's another good one. Thomas Paine. These are inspirational. I think I'm going to print some of these out. Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it. Yeah, it takes some sweat in there. This is by Thomas Paine. Thank you for that quote, Mr. Paine. Theodore Roosevelt. I am an American, free-born and free-bred, where I acknowledge no man as my superior except for his own worth, or as my inferior except for his own demerit. That's Theodore Roosevelt. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, let's see what she says. America is known as a country that welcomes people to its shores, all kinds of people, and I'm going to add that come in the right way. My daughter-in-law is actually from Russia, and she is an American. She came in the right way. She was also tutored to speak English, by the way. She knows more American history than all of us do combined, probably. Okay, this is by Rudyard Kipling. All we use or know, this is our fathers bought for us a long ago. Wow, look, let's read this one again. All we use or know, this our fathers bought for us long ago. Another good one. Okay, I've got another good one right here. This is by Ronald Reagan. He's one of my heroes. If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under. I'm going to quote this one. This is by Ronald Reagan. If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be one nation gone under. It's a good one, President Reagan. Okay, here is one right here. We shall go wild with fireworks, and they will plunge into the sky and shatter the darkness. That's by Takaya. Okay. Freedom is the oxygen of the soul. Oh, it is. To feel free is just all there is. If you've never visited another country, I beg you, save some money up and do that. You'll find out. You'll find out exactly how liberated we are. Even though we fuss and fight with each other all the time, we are the best nation by far, and we want to keep it that way. Okay, this is Margaret Thatcher. Europe was created by history. America was created by psychology. Okay, and this is by Thurgood Marshall. Where you see wrong or inequality or injustice, speak out, because this is your country, this is your democracy. Make it, protect it, pass it on. Okay, this is by Leech Walesa. We hold our heads high despite the price we have paid, because freedom is priceless. It most certainly is. You know what it is to feel bogged down? You know, like you've got, let's say you have, maybe you're worried about your kids. Maybe you're worried about your finances. Maybe you're worried about anything in general. You don't feel the freedom, right? And then when you find out everything is okay, maybe the kids are better off than you thought they were. Maybe your finances are better off than you thought they were. And you can breathe and you can feel some freedom. There's nothing better. This is by John Philip Sousa. The red and white and starry blue is freedom's shield and hope. This is by John F. Kennedy. Everywhere immigrants have enriched and strengthened the fabric of American life. Yeah, absolutely. And you've come in and you are a true American citizen. And you come in the right way. Jesse Lane Adams. I love my freedom. I love my America. I do too. Herbert Hoover. Freedom is the open window through which pours the sunlight of the human spirit, and human dignity. Herbert Hoover. Hazel Scott says, whoever walked behind anyone to freedom? If we can't go hand in hand, I don't want to go. Liberty is always dangerous. Liberty is always dangerous, but it's the safest thing we have. I think that's pretty darn good, don't you? Okay, so let's talk about the best 4th of July quotes. We still have a little bit of time. This is just a good day to sit back and reflect. And why you are an American. I mean, why are you? Is it because you were born here, you don't know any better? I invite you to go back and look at history of other countries. And I know I've talked to my daughter-in-law, Larissa, who is from Russia. Wasn't fun growing up. Under communist rule, no one owns anything. And so she talked about how it was growing up. So you had this plot of land, you worked really hard, you had a garden, it was not your land, it was not your food you were harvesting either, by the way. You got to keep some of it, but most of it went to the government. Being under communist rule is not a good thing. We have liberty, and I hope this is not taken away, but we have the liberty to own our own property. Even in the worst of times, let's say you're late on your house payment, you still own it right now, right? And there's still hope that you're going to be able to make that house payment. Let's talk a little bit about dignity. And I know it's kind of out of style for people to be prosperous and to want to be better and to want to learn more and read books like you see all those behind me right there. But reading is just, you're educating yourself. I asked my 102-year-old Aunt Elizabeth Burgess, I said, why are you so spry? I mean, she lives by herself. I mean, nobody has to sit with her. She does her own thing. She reads a lot. She said that was one of the reasons that she felt like she was able to keep her mind like she does. She's always on a learning assignment. I know every time I go to her house, she's a collector. And so she'll find that she loves to go to yard sales, and she still loves to go to auctions. And she has picked up a lot of stuff at auctions. And so she just gets all into, she's not afraid of the internet. Now, she doesn't know how to use it, so that's why she depends on me to sit with her and let her see all the different things that she has. And she'll say, now, I bought this about 20 years ago. Can you tell me what it's worth right now? By the way, she gave me a bunch of books. And you know what most of those books are about? Learning. They're about how to make yourself a better person. They're about gardening. How do you garden? They're about how to decide what are antiques and stories from a long time ago. A lot of them are biblical. The most of her books are commentaries. And she just swears by that. She said, if you go through life and you can't learn or you don't want to, if you think you're a know-it-all, you're not going to live a long, fruitful life. You got to be constantly wanting to learn. She does crossword puzzles. She said, you got to keep your mind busy. Don't sit around and watch soaps all the time. That's another one of her deals. She said, no, you need to keep busy and you need to always want to learn. Be a little ambitious. It's okay. Have a little bit of pride about yourself. That's okay too. So those are some really good quotes from that lady who's a big driver in my life as well. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of The Edge on IAC Radio. I hope you've had a fabulous 4th of July, and I hope it's something you can go back and do a little studying, okay? Do some research. Talk to your kids, to your grandkids. Let them know what the 4th of July is really all about. Independence Day, okay? And it is true independence. You take care. Again, thank you so much for watching.